Attention visionaries and pioneers, the future of wealth is here, and it's spelled B-I-T-C-O-I-N, Bitcoin. Introducing the exclusive Loans for Bitcoin program at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where your good credit unlocks 0% interest loans for up to 2 years, or term loans up to $250,000 spread over 7 to 12 years. Why wait? Use this capital to acquire the world's fastest appreciating asset, Bitcoin. With prices hovering around 94,000 and projections aiming much higher by the year's end, the time to act is now. Leverage isn't just for Wall Street anymore. Arbitrage the low cost of your loan against Bitcoin's explosive growth. It's smart finance for the modern investor. And privacy matters. Our no KYC Bitcoin purchase program ensures you buy and self-custody your assets in your own wallet. Your keys, your Bitcoin, your future. And as the world shifts to digital currencies, be ahead of the curve. Front-run corporations, governments, in this greatest financial revolution of our times. I'm Jay Bose, CEO of Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club. Call or text us today at 941-413-6920 and get started on that loan application. Secure your legacy. You will thank yourself tomorrow. Good morning and welcome to the Bitcoin Thursdays with Dr. J. I'm Dr. J and I'm delighted to be here today to share some perspectives. Today, I want to talk about women, Bitcoin, and entrepreneurship. You see, there's a fascinating symmetry to this. 3 different wildfires burning in separate valleys, but fueled by their own rebellion. If you look at and trace the smoke long enough, you'll find that they all emerge from the same place. The refusal to be overlooked. Women have had to fight for their rights forever. Bitcoin has had to fight and continue so to gain acceptance. And entrepreneurs, well, you know that story. There's an entrepreneurial story that doesn't have struggles in it. Every one of them has been overlooked. Every one of them is told why they can't do it. And yet, they overcome it. Today, I want to share my thoughts on entrepreneurship, the role of women in Bitcoin, and boy, is it a powerful, powerful movement that is taking place. In a word, women have been overlooked, especially from the 90s. Those were the days, I was in Silicon Valley when Netscape IPOs and dial-up modems and Silicon Valley sweatshirts, predatory term sheets. The tech world was born in the garage, empire built with boys, with big ideas being canonized by the venture capitalists. And women, well, usually a footnote. I remember the time when I walked into the Facebook office in Palo Alto. I think it was 1998. Early, Facebook hadn't launched yet. It wasn't there for business. I was there to meet a bunch of nerdy guys who were sitting around under garden umbrellas planted inside a large hall. Don't ask. It's a different story, right? On the main street in Palo Alto. But what struck me wasn't that glowing monitors and a rack of servers. It was the absence. Not a single woman was at the table. A kingdom was being built on code and caffeine and engineers in titles that traditionally attracted men. And so we didn't have women in Silicon Valley. Now, later on, as Silicon Valley progressed, we had a tremendous emphasis on hiring women, on educating women, code and they were better than most, right? So yet women who were sharp and unrelenting, often twice as prepared, but half as praised. Now, why I bring this up is because this same story that I've seen in the 90s in the tech sector is once again repeating itself in the Bitcoin world. It is still largely dominated by men, and it isn't going to be like. Let me tell you about my very first boss at Cisco. Her name was Sue Bostrom. Brilliant, brilliant, beautiful woman who taught me by example what true leadership looks like. She had come from McKinsey. She was absolutely incredible with her vision, with her leadership. And in many ways, Cisco would not be what it is without true leaders like Sue Bostrom. I worked for her for many years, and it was the greatest privilege and honor of my life. She didn't just break glass ceilings, she turned them into skylights. Today, I see the same skylights in women like Cathie Woods, who's staring down Wall Street as if Wall Street has taken her lunch money, or Elizabeth Stark, who's rewriting Financial Lightning Network herself, or Lynn Alden, who's writing Decoding Macroeconomics in a precision of a brain surgeon. And of course, we have our own Janet Gatewood, our Nashville powerhouse who runs the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Network. And she's leading our team. She's in Las Vegas, leading the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club flag into the Bitcoin 2025 conference. I saw her there planting our flag with 500 incredible women celebrating female leadership in crypto. Natalie Woods was the chair, and Janet was representing us. It was an incredible, powerful moment for us as a company, for us as a club, because it is women like Janet Gatewood out of Nashville who will become the face of our company. And to our own Gloria in the office, who I was having a meeting with not 15 minutes ago. She has launched 5 little startup companies. Folks, these women are not anomalies. They are the blueprint which this new world will be built block by block, chain by chain. Now let's talk about the mind. I've told you that in the past, engineering more of the boys went to engineering, and therefore the tech world was that way. But the mind is different. It's not the markets, it's not the machines, the mind is really important to shape. And Bitcoin is going to be that fire, and education is going to be the oxygen that fuels it. And without it, we're just waving sparks in the storm. Nothing's going to light. You see, something is happening. Extraordinary things are happening here at our Bitcoin Ben clubs. It's happening through our media networks. It's happening through shows like this that I'm doing, and Ben is doing, and Sherpa is doing, and Janet Gatewoods is doing. We're building a community. We are building hubs. We're building the renaissance of Bitcoin literacy. From the Bitcoin Ben clubs to the independent YouTubers explaining hash rates out of their basements and garages, a parallel type of university is emerging. From the captured legacy media, where people just learn about money, in this Bitcoin world, people will learn about sovereignty. We're not talking about charts and tokens. We're not talking about, we're really talking about economic rebirth. It's a new way. We are here in the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club teaching truckers how to self-custody Bitcoin. We're showing single moms how to crowdfund a business with sats. We're handing flash drives full of economic power to 12-year-olds to dream beyond what sneaker they're going to get next. And yes, we have to build something for the kids. Now, just Imagine with me. Let's imagine a little school in Sarasota, right here in our club. Not a prep school, not a charter school, just a room full of kids, 9 years, 10 years, maybe 12 years, each with a tablet, digital wallet, learning that money doesn't come from a bank vault, it comes from verification. They start learning how to code smart contracts. They're playing games that teach block creation. They compete for Satoshis in a scavenger hunt. They learn more about finance at 13 than I'd ever did at 40. And by 15, they are launching online businesses. They are accepting Bitcoins. They know how to open wallets. They've never touched a credit card. They don't know what that piece of plastic is. What do you think happens when an entire generation grows up not believing in banks? They don't ask for jobs. They build them. My own 13-year-old son, Adrian, is already there. He's mining, he's trying to put plans to mine Bitcoin with solar panels, understanding scarcity, studying asymmetric bet theory. By the time his peers will be filling out college essays, hopefully, he'll be managing nodes and code and building his AI bots driven by Bitcoin digital fuel, making money for him with his laptop while he sleeps. That's the future. That's the future we must build. And if you truly want to understand entrepreneurship, look no further than what Bitcoin offers. It was built by no one, and yet it belongs to everyone. It rewards work, it punishes waste, and it levels the playing field like fiat never could. I know this. I know about leveling playing fields because I've walked on this long road over 2 decades, over 22 years. I was in Silicon Valley and in California, leading startups, sweat equity, sleepless nights under my desk, from dusty server rooms in Mountain View, and now to launching and growing Bitcoin Ben crypto clubs. I poured everything into building systems that give people access, not just access to Bitcoin, but access to freedom. Of course, none of it was possible without my greatest love and strength of the one woman in this world, my wife, Clara, whose love and belief in me never flickers, even when the markets go up and down. Emma, our 6-year-old daughter, little, she was on the show yesterday, wise enough to ask me last night, Daddy, does Bitcoin help people? Yes, my sweet girl, it helps them build. I think to her. This is the beauty of Bitcoin. It isn't something that we will hand down. You know, we talk about, what will you do for your legacy and what will you do for your future? You think of it as, I'm going to hand down a wallet with a bunch of Bitcoin in it to my next generation, and that'll be my legacy. Wrong. Bitcoin is not something you hand down. Something you hand over. You hand it over to the next generation who will wield this weapon better, faster, and stronger than we ever could. Because here's the truth that the guys in the suits, and I used to be one of them, wouldn't tell you. These jobs are not coming back. No, not even the coders. These jobs are not coming back. The ones that do will be consumed by AI faster than you can say ChatGPT +1. And that's not the end of the world. That's not the end of the world, folks. It's actually the beginning of a better world. Because in this new world, the only safe jobs will be entrepreneurial. Hear me out again. The only safety is in you owning your own money, not some guy in a 401k plan, pension plan management with a hedge fund. It is not some employer who's going to look at your resume, give you a job, and you'll go. And if you truly want freedom and you truly want safety, be entrepreneurial. Men, women, girls, boys, be entrepreneurial, because that is the essence of the new world. That is what Bitcoin allows us to do. Imagine a young woman in Nigeria running a decentralized AI bot farm, which offers SEO research, legal transcription to clients across the world, all settled in a Lightning network with instantaneous peer-to-peer transaction that pays her money. Imagine a teenage girl in El Paso, Texas, with a YouTube channel for Spanish-speaking audiences, sponsored by Bitcoin brands, tipping enabled, treasury denominated in sats. You see, there's a lot of money that's going to flow into media right now, because some of the biggest banks, the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, they're creating Bitcoin derivative products. They're creating products that are based on Bitcoin as its foundational layer. ETFs, exchange traded funds, other kinds of derivative products are going to continue to come into the market. And these big boys, they don't build these products because of $10 million market opportunity. They build it because it's a $100 billion market opportunity or more. And when you go into that kind of a market, the first thing you do is marketing. So even if 5% of that 100 billion was going to be spent in marketing, that's $5 billion that's going to flow into YouTube channels, CoinBen TV channels, media channels, crypto fits channels that are going to be sponsored by the big boys hawking their version of the Bitcoin derivative product. So media is going to be huge. Young kids, entrepreneurs with their own talk shows, with their own podcasts, with their own conversations on Bitcoin are going to light that fire. They're going to light that fire, going to be sponsored, and they're going to be making more money by doing these educational podcasts than they will ever do putting a resume together and going to a bank and saying, "Can I have a job, please?" That world is over. Imagine a mother of 3 in Montana running a Bitcoin node from her own ranch where power is cheap, renting out satellite Starlink bandwidth on global data networks through a mesh of contracts. The Bitcoin miners making money. Imagine the 16-year-old kid in Romania launching a micro software as a service tool that monitors, let's say, whale movements for hedges, selling access via Nostr logins and BTC payments. If you think this is sci-fi, if you think this is not possible, this is happening right now. You see, the future does not belong to those with resumes. It belongs to those who understand Bitcoin wallets. And perhaps, just perhaps, I muse some. I wonder who Satoshi Nakamoto really is. Could it have been a woman, a mother, a coder, a privacy zealot? Dream? Wouldn't that be delicious? Well, entrepreneurship and women in entrepreneurship and women in Bitcoin and kids in Bitcoin, it's not a fairy tale. It's sovereignty. That is what Unchained looks like. So let's dial into understanding, why is Bitcoin going to become the lifeblood of entrepreneurship? Why is it going to level the playing field? Why is it important? What are the keys to the kingdom? And here are 5 things that are uniquely different for Bitcoin that allow you right now to start your own business, to become an entrepreneur, to love freedom, to gain your financial sovereignty. Number one, borderless payments. No wires, no fees, no middle. The entire planet is your market. It reminds me of the time many years ago when the internet was taking off, and I was living in New Jersey, a little town called Red Bank and Tinton Falls, pretty little names. And it was near the shore, and there was a fella who used to sell, old man who used to sell fishing rods. He made the finest fishing rods, handmade rods. And primarily he would get business when people came and bought his fishing rods and went fishing in New Jersey. And yet when the internet came, he started putting his fishing rods online. Within a very short time, 80% of his sales was happening in Japan. He had never stepped outside of his own zip code. And yet 80% of his sales came from Japan now. Not from the local people, not from the tourists who had come there to buy a fishing rod, but because somebody in Japan found that his fishing rods were custom made and beautiful. The internet changed the way he looked at his revenue. Borderless payments is so fundamental. Just understand something. Even now, 97% of the world, leave the 3% of the Bitcoiners and the crypto guys aside, 97% of the world stands in line in a brick building. If they have to send a wire, they have to go to a Western Union. They got to go to a bank, fill up forms. They got to show their identity to send $1,000 to their family or friends in Mexico or wherever else they're sending it. Terribly broken system. 3 days later, the money comes in or doesn't come in. Gee, your routing number was not right, and the bank didn't, and they charged a whole bunch of money. Just to understand what happens in Bitcoin and in crypto. Borderless payments. I can send any amount of money I want right this moment, not 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, not on Saturdays and Sundays, not on president's holidays. I can't do. Bitcoin doesn't care. We can send money pure wallet to wallet anywhere on the planet, anytime, no wires, no fees, right? Or very little fees, no middleman, decentralized. If you truly understand this concept, you will understand the world is your oyster. And you can create entrepreneurial programs. You can create companies that'll thrive because there are no borders to your business. You can collect money from anywhere, anytime. You don't have to be at the mercy of and Square saying, let me review your website and see if I like you. And by the way, PayPal, if I don't like you and you don't follow my corporate guidelines, I'm not going to give you an account. And you won't process your MasterCard and Visa. You won't have a MID, a merchant ID, a merchant processing account. Wow, how can I run a business without a merchant processing account? I can't, right? Because I can't collect Visa. And if I can't collect money, I don't have a business. Fuck that, in Ben's words. Fuck that. And I know it's sharp and it's hard, but it's required. It's not my style to do this. But that is precisely the attitude we need to have, because we have a tool that allows borderless payments, peer-to-peer, any time of the day or night, from anyone to anyone, anywhere on this planet. Now, if you don't see that as an advantage, your entrepreneurial mind is not ticking. Make it tick. Because when you sit and meditate on that, you're going to come up with 10 ideas, build your own business, and how to gain your own sovereignty. Number 2, micro investments and crowdsourcing. Again, look at the crowdsourcing platforms. They collect money and then, I don't like the cause you have. Oh boy, that doesn't fit our policy. We're not going to release the money to you. I'm not going to say it again, but yeah, that. Micro investment crowdsourcing allows fractional Satoshis to be sent and funded to anyone, anywhere. The kid sitting in Jakarta can launch a coffee business funded by a retiree out of Kansas. It changes the way we look at capital. Number one, it changed the way we collect money, the way we can sell products and services globally without anyone else telling us or controlling. Number two, in a business, in an entrepreneurship requires capital. It allows us to raise capital one Satoshi at a time from anywhere, anyone on the planet who believes in you. It's going to change the world of how investments are made. It's not going to be investment banks telling you how to raise money. It's going to be your presence and your ability to accept Bitcoin into your wallet. Number three, smart contracts. Really, really important. Bitcoin allows smart contracts. ERC20 allows smart contracts. Solana allows smart contracts. All the crypto, blockchains allow smart contracts. Some are easier than others, of course. But the ability to escrow and deliver and do royalty splits, all is built into the code. It's trustless trust, because these smart contracts are essential to the lifeblood of any type of a business. You need to be able to collect money, and you need to know that the person promises to pay that money. You need to be able to pay money to your suppliers, and you need to have a structure to do that. You need to be able to hire employees. You need to have a structure to pay them payroll. You need to have your investors, and you need to have a structure that allows you to pay dividends. These are all basic things we do as a company. And smart contracts allow us to do that without any third party. Now, imagine the power of that statement alone. Again, I encourage you to think like an entrepreneur. Be that strength. Think about these things and figure out how you're going to build your own business. Smart contracts, something that fiat doesn't allow. See, you don't have to sit and pay these high-priced $1,200 an hour, $1,800 an hour I've paid before for M&A deals. We can do a lot of things with smart contracts. Number four, sovereign lending pools. What are sovereign lending pools? You don't have to go to the bank and beg for money and say, oh, please, I really have a good idea. Please, I'll pay you your interest. F that. You can use your BTC as collateral. You can borrow globally, and you can invest and build locally. When you have BTC in your wallet, you can borrow against it. We do that all the time here at the Bitcoin Ben Club. We never let our members sell their Bitcoin, but we do create cash flow with it. We take and custody that Bitcoin safe wallets in ways they are not atomic swapped or ways they are not wrapped. None of that wrapped Bitcoin is Bitcoin, by the way. It's a bunch of nonsense. We keep the Bitcoin as Bitcoin, like bars of gold in a very secure vault for a 4-year term, and we borrow 70 cents to the dollar against it. And we plow that money into making money, into making cash every single month. So sovereign lending pools are available. Look at what Jack Mallers is doing with 21. He wants to become the biggest lender in the world because he wants Bitcoin, because he believes it's the strongest and the most valuable asset you ever had. This ain't no pawn shop, folks. Not taking your watch and your little gold chain and saying, hey, can I borrow $300 against it? You're taking the world's most valuable asset, Bitcoin, the strongest asset, the most protected asset, the asset that doesn't get rained on, and the asset that cannot be flooded, and the asset that cannot go through an earthquake. That's the asset we're talking about. No wonder Jack Mallers is so freaking excited about lending money and hoarding the Bitcoin for you. All right? It's a glorified business of pawn, just done with a great deal of sophistication. But what's important to you is that as an entrepreneur, you have access to capital that you yourself can create. You don't have to make big, long pitches to the investor and to the shark tanks and to this guy and that guy. You have grabbed destiny by the something and taken control of your own destiny, right? Taken control of your own life. And the fifth area I want you to focus on is what we call circular economics. Entire communities and ecosystems transacting in Bitcoin. Farmers, bakers, barbers, all swapping value without ever touching the bank. This is the world I want to see, where people use Bitcoin, where people build communities that share value through Bitcoin. And the more we do that, the more powerful the network becomes, the more powerful and lasting Bitcoin becomes. Many people believe that Bitcoin has gone past the point of no return, where this thing is completely inevitable. I don't think so. I think Bitcoin is in its infancy. It's a baby. It needs all the support we can get. As the rewards gets halved, we need to have increase in usage. We need to have increase in transactions. Because like any other business, if the rewards continue to get halved, not as many people are going to mine. If not as many people mine, you're not going to have as many exahashes protecting this digital gold in the sky. And if you don't have the protections, the system can crumble. I'm not suggesting that's what's going to happen. I'm simply saying that a necessary requirement is that Bitcoin's usage continues to grow. It's not just a payment method. It's a platform for reinvention. And this is exactly what we at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club are trying to do. We got to educate. We got to create a whole generation of entrepreneurs. We got to build on the momentum that is here. But Bitcoin, it's good for store of value. That's growing. That's nice. But that store of value, where does it come from? Where does the value come from? The value comes from usage. It's a net that still does very few transactions. So Lightning Network, Litecoin, all of the next layers of the technology stack that need to be built out need to be improved. Does Bitcoin have enough developers? Absolutely not. I'm trying to get some tokens built, and ERC20, we got thousands of developers, easy tools, easy access. Bitcoin, not so much. We don't have developers. We don't have the good tools. We don't have the pervasive ecosystem that we need to build smart contracts. This needs to happen. It's going to happen through education. We need to have hordes of 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds sitting here in Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, learning to code, learning how to write smart contracts, because that is what Bitcoin needs to succeed, to become what it has the potential to become. But if not enough money is created from transactions, then the network will shrink. And when the network shrinks, it becomes vulnerable. So I'm going to take a break in 30 minutes for a word from our sponsors. But really important, women in Bitcoin, you must rise and spread the word. Entrepreneurs, kids, you got to rise. You got to take hold of this thing and take it to the next level. Because without your love, without your support, and without your care, and without your passion, Bitcoin ain't going to make it. If you want this to be the future, we got to build it in the present. Zoltan, let's break for a quick ad.
Want to connect with the world? Ready to be heard by millions? Have a talent you are ready to share, or want to elevate your business to the next level? Step into the spotlight. Welcome to our all-new podcast studio at Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club, Sarasota. Introducing a cutting-edge creative space built for everyone, from first-timers to seasoned pros. Outfitted with state-of-the-art cameras, broadcast-quality microphones, professional mixers, and premium acoustic treatment, this is where your voice isn't just heard, it's felt. Whether you're recording a podcast, live streaming, or creating high-impact video content, our studio delivers next-level production value. Lights on, mic hot, let's go.
All right, and we are back. Thank you for tuning into the Bitcoin Thursdays with Dr. J. I'm Dr. J. And now I want to turn to Florida, my home, my battleground, and my dream. We're a state bursting with great potential, just like Bitcoin. Almost 25 million people, more coastline than California, more electrical demand than New York, and a GDP bigger than Spain. And most importantly, a state with an entrepreneurial soul and alligators begging to be unleashed. Florida will become the #1 state in America. California is burning, it's gone. New York is taking entrepreneurs. My focus today is entrepreneurs and women. Millions and millions of businesses will rise. We'll see Florida's GDP soar. Already entrepreneurs and small businesses constitute more than 62% of the GDP and about 58% of the jobs that are created in Florida. We will see communities that thrive on peer-to-peer trade, sovereign commerce, and economic inclusion. Florida has always been for builders, for the dreamers, for the Claras and the Emmas and the Glorias in our office who are creating new companies every day. And yes, even for 13-year-old boys who are busy rigging solar panels to power their computers. Women in Florida, women around our country are rising not as guests, but as founders, as entrepreneurs. They're thriving, not with capital, but with Bitcoin as a spark. I think Florida is ready. The people are ready. The time has come where we need to start seeing Bitcoin not just as money, not just as a cocktail conversation, but as leverage, a tool that can change your family's fate for all time. To build a business without asking someone for money, to feed a community without having to wait. You know, yesterday I was driving into work and I saw a vet standing there, with this card on the side of the road saying he's hungry. It's not right. It's not right at any level. This should not be happening in Florida, and it shouldn't be happening in the streets of LA. Our vets are important. Our vets are our lifeblood. I stopped the car and he gave me a salute, brought tears to my eyes, because this is not what should be happening in our country. It should not be happening in the streets of Sarasota. I gave him some money for food, but that's the start. We need to be able to create a wealth and ecosystem where communities can thrive. Entrepreneurship. I've asked Nathan and Jody in our office to see if we can get aligned with the veterans and veterans projects over here, so we as a Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club can actually support and help and aid and feed people in our own community right here at home. But this entrepreneurship, this is something Bitcoin does enable us to achieve. You see, when that young girl in Florida wants to open a business, she doesn't have to take a loan. She doesn't have to chase a grant or seek permission She will simply build. And when she does, that world will change, because it will happen. I promise you that. That fire is already there. I see glimpses of it. I speak to people who come into our Bitcoin Ben crypto clubs. I've seen people who are attending our classes. I'm meeting people from around the world, from cities and countries sometimes whose names I cannot pronounce. But these people are here. They're coming. And what do we need to do? What do we need to do as a Bitcoin Ben crypto club? We need to teach. We need to teach. We need to educate. We need to build media networks. We need to keep funding clubs. We need to keep hosting meetups. We need to explain to 6-year-olds what a Satoshi is, what a hash rate is for single moms, and multi-sig churches and ministers. And if we do that, and if we tell our stories from the Cisco boardrooms to Silicon Valley startups to now Bitcoin Ben crypto clubs to small town miners who are setting up sheds, from my little wide-eyed 6-year-old daughter Emma, curious, to dreamers all across Florida, Bitcoin is giving us an opportunity for entrepreneurship. Because if we do that, we will fan the flame. We will not only become the finest state in the country, but we can become the richest and the boldest and the beating heart of Bitcoin. So I'm talking to some of the senators about it. I've been given the opportunity to be on the Economic Development Council for the state of Florida, small and medium businesses, to bring wealth to the poorest of communities, to rural Florida. But from Sarasota to Miami, from the Panhandle to Palm Beach, we need to build an army, not of soldiers, not of politicians, but of entrepreneurs. Bitcoin is not a technology. It's not a currency. It's not a property. It is a revolution. It is a revolution that can create and teach people how to own themselves. Bitcoin is the lesson plan. Bitcoin is what is going to redefine the way we live, learn, share, earn, all of the slogans that we put out there. Bitcoin has given us an opportunity to level the playing field for women to rise, to be owners, to be entrepreneurs, to be CEOs, to be visionaries, to be leaders. It has given small businesses and entrepreneurs a level playing field where they do not have to beg for money from the bankers. They don't have to wait for permission from the merchant processors. They don't have to wait for lawyers to write contracts for them. All of those hurdles dissipate, disappear, because Bitcoin, smart contracts, Lightning networks give us the technologies and the tools we need to follow our passions, to follow our dreams, and to build great businesses. I couldn't be happier in the job Ben has given me to be CEO of Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, to create this awareness, to take this flame and spread it all across our country and across the world. And we are doing it. And we're going to do it faster than anyone else can. There are not a lot of crypto clubs around the country. We are unique in our business model. We are true entrepreneurs. We're breaking ground. We're the cutting edge, not the bleeding edge. We are ahead of the curve. Ben has been doing this grassroots movement for years, long before Michael Saylor decided to set up his academy. We need to seize the moment. We need to seize the day and continue to spread the word of Bitcoin around the world. And in every breath we take and things we do, we got to think about how can we do this with sovereignty, and how can we do it with freedom, and how can we do it with entrepreneurship, and how can we raise women up into being leaders? How can we raise our kids so that they are not with the slave mentality that is taught to them in our current universities and schools. That is the power of Bitcoin. I truly encourage each one of you who is watching this to please call our number, come to our clubs. We now have 6 different clubs, and we plan to expand aggressively right across the country. Come to our Sarasota club, come to our Nashville club, come to our Boston club, come to our Dallas club, which is opening on June 14th. Ben and I will be there for the wonderful opening night on Saturday. Come to our Las Vegas club. St. Louis is going to open soon. Salvador is opening and has already opened, where we've got a bank and a resort. We have a pipeline of other cities that want to open up. Why? Because they are spreading the message of Bitcoin. We need Bitcoin, and Bitcoin needs us. It needs us to use the technology platform. It needs us to do transactions. It needs us to start creating smart contracts. It needs us to tokenize the world. It needs us to take every damn asset that we have and put it into the blockchain. It needs us because only when we use it more and more, our network, our money becomes more powerful. And to do that, education is the key. Involving women is the key. Less than 3 or 4% of the world today even knows about Bitcoin. Certainly they don't have wallets. 97% don't have wallets. We better change that. The next 3 years is really important. Each one of you who has a wallet, who has a Bitcoin, you must get out there and speak about why Bitcoin is important, why it can change the world, why it creates an ecosystem, why it gives you sovereignty, and why it gives you freedom to be an entrepreneur, which is the only way forward. The next 50 years is not going to be wearing that little tie and getting in your car and going to a 9-to-5 jobs, folks. That era is over. In the new world, the more you are entrepreneurial, the more you're courageous, the more you're brave, the more you use your own power as leverage, the less you beg from others, the more you will succeed. Be an entrepreneur. Be a strong woman leader. Be a child that is already participating in the future economy, not waiting to become 18 years old. The time is here. The next 3 years are probably the most amazing time as the world goes through transition and chaos. The greatest dynasties, the greatest wealth was made when there were wars, when there was strife, when there was chaos, when there was entropy, when everything looked crazy. There's a Chinese proverb that the most difficult things are often the biggest opportunities. This opportunity is here. This window won't be open forever. So find that inner entrepreneur in yourself and start taking that journey, one business at a time, one hash rate at a time, one Bitcoin mining at a time. Have a wonderful day, folks. Come to the clubs, participate in the programs that we have. We have a lot of different wonderful programs I've talked about before. Call one of our folks. We're here to help you. We're here to educate you and to guide you and to participate with you as partners in building a new world based on Bitcoin. God bless you. God bless America.
Ever wondered how safe your online activities really are? How secure is your digital footprint? In the vast realm of the internet, privacy and security are paramount. Without adequate protection, your personal data might be at risk. There are solutions to these issues, and today we're going to talk about 2 of them. Introducing Liberty laptops from CALIX Solutions. These cutting-edge devices are meticulously designed to bolster online privacy, providing you the liberty to surf the internet incognito. The World Wide Web can be a wild frontier, but with Liberty laptops, your online privacy is always protected. We also present you crypto laptops, designed with cryptocurrency users in mind. Equipped to support a myriad of wallets and exchanges, these laptops are tailored for seamless cryptocurrency transactions. They offer enhanced security protocols to keep your digital assets safe. Crypto laptops ensures a secure and smooth cryptocurrency experience. It's time to take control of your online privacy and security. Venture over to CALIX Solutions and explore our Liberty laptops and crypto laptops. Don't forget, our affiliate program lets you earn $50 per sale. Visit calixsolutions.io now or call 7028458276 for more information, because your online safety is our priority.